Hey guys, AuspiciousAussie here. Welcome to episode 70 of the Local to Global, here with the Canadian Wrestling Coalition. Now, we're following pretty much straight on from the last episode, which is good. I'm able to essentially record these episodes, well, back-to-back days, which I haven't really been doing too often. But we've got a few things to take care of. Of course, in that last episode, we got to the end of the episode, and then this popped up. We've got Lauren Easter, and her contract is up for negotiation with CWA. And as I've said many, many times before, we want to be getting all the best women from CWA. As you can see, Lauren Easter, probably, I want to say maybe second best from... Actually, maybe... I would say... Well, second best now, because I would have said Amber Allen would have been second best, but we signed her up, so we've got her in the roster already. We want to get Lauren Easter, who I would say now is second best behind Brooke Tyler from the CWA Women's Division. So yeah, let's go in for Lauren. She is 37 years old, so she's up there. Now, I think for her, a 5-year contract is probably the best option to go for, because the women, they do tend to retire pretty early. So we don't want to be going, too long with her. Then again, I don't know, it's a weird one, because the women don't really matter, because their match lengths aren't going to be really anything more than 12 minutes long. Even their sort of like main event title matches, they're only going to be a bit like around that sort of 12-minute time frame, even less, for the older women that have lower stamina. So it's a weird one. I think we'll just go. You know what? We'll go 6. We'll go 6. Even if she retires, we'll keep her around for a little bit longer, and I guess kind of see what she can do. To be honest. I don't want to give her a 40% merchandise cut, though. Alright, so she wants 79,500. Which is it's a decent amount more than CWA are negotiating, so interesting. We'll try 15, but it's probably going to be closer to 30, I would assume. 25? Nah, it's going to be 30. 35 even. Yeah, 35. Oh, that's not good. I guess we'll just give her 20% as well. I wonder if I can lower this down and then go 20%. Like this. No, she still wants high merchandise. Okay. Fair enough. She still wants creative control. That's gonna be a no from me. We might not be getting Lauren Easter. If she keeps harping on about creative control, I mean... I'm kind of hesitant to go for her. I mean, we can bump the offer up a bit. I'll go to 85 and then... Alright, there we go. Probably didn't actually need to go up to 85, but we did it anyway. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is actually send Jack Pride down, because I literally forgot to do that last episode. But there's the 4.37. I think I went over that in the last episode. Maybe I didn't. Not 100% sure, but either way, there we go. So the roster, we are finally sending down Primetime Jack Pride. Probably not going to want to go down to developmental. Oh, he kind of just accepted it, really. Just want to have a quick little look at the roster here. Obviously, I don't want this episode to be too long, because the last one was relatively long as well, because we had a lot of sort of contract negotiation stuff to go through. I mean, Sinner would be an obvious choice to go down, but I feel like his tag team with Zombie Boy is It's pretty important at the moment. And of course, I've kind of talked about in the last episode, Shooting Star Perez as well. They're the only two that would really sort of make sense to send down, because we could send guys like Willie LaRue and Osono down. The thing with them is they're already good enough to be on the main roster, so I don't know. It doesn't really make a lot of sense for us to send them down. You could also make an argument for Job Squad potentially going down, but I kind of need Job Squad. I guess maybe the other one's Zippy. So Zippy's irritated, cool momentum, definitely lacking in the skills. I think we'll send Zippy down as well. Obviously, yeah, no, you're going down, buddy. There we go. Interesting that he rejected it, but Jack Pride didn't. Very interesting. Anyway, this is what the size is looking like right now as we start the episode. We've got 71 in Alberta. And then, of course, at the end of last episode, we got to 77 in Saskatchewan as well. So we're just waiting 6 more points on Alberta, and we will be big size. Really, really looking forward to that. Anyway, let's advance into the first TV show of the episode here. Not really too sure what I want to do on this show. Haven't really thought about it, to be honest, but I'm sure I'll come up with something pretty good. And of course, I'm hoping, but I don't think Tommy Cornell will be here for the pay-per-view, which is a little bit unfortunate, but at the same time, it's kind of fine because we do have 9 storylines going at the moment. So we've kind of got the pay-per-view essentially already booked with all of our matches just from those storylines alone. And of course, from last episode, we've also got the women's world title, the women's title match. And of course, we essentially developed a nice little storyline in that last episode that kind of explains why the women's world, I should probably call it the women's world title now that I think about it, but the women's title, why it wasn't actually on the line in that fatal 4-way match at the last pay-per-view. Of course, the theory behind Amber Allen's theory as to who stole it is, of course, Laura Flame. Laura Flame won a triple threat match on the last episode, and therefore it's now going to be a singles match for that women's title at the pay-per-view. Amber Allen versus Laura Flame. That's kind of our first real storyline between our women. You know, we've kind of lumped them all together in that same storyline together. And then again, Doc Hammond is also having a little bit of involvement in there. It's kind of, you know, maybe Doc Hammond's negligence that actually led to the title being stolen. And it's gonna be an interesting month, at least for the women, in that sort of regard. And I mean, if we get Lauren Easter, you know, we get her. But at the moment, I mean, just with her bringing up creative control like that, it just kind of makes me a little bit hesitant. Anyway, we have got you know, I'm fine with her extending that deal, man. I would have loved to have gotten her, but at the same time, I don't know, it wouldn't have been worth it, creative control. I know I didn't give it to her, but the next negotiation was probably going to be even more money. Yeah, see, they're already paying $92,000, and for us to get the winning bid there, would be probably 110, 115. And I'm kind of happy to just try and build our own division, if I'm being honest. Oh no, we missed. Oh, that is unfortunate. We missed Jake Idle. I know he's selfish, but oh, that would have been so good bringing back Rich and Famous. They would have literally been the perfect sort of tag team for Wall Street Enterprises. Oh, I wish I saw that. Well, I wish we weren't processing. You have George Wolfe leaving CWA, currently unemployed. We did talk about him probably like 2 or 3 episodes ago, but he's actually the son of Ed Monton. Did not realize that. Obviously, the difference in last name. Interesting, because we actually have Edmonton on our roster. He's our sort of #1 road agent at the moment as well. Interesting. I'm going to have a look at that in a bit more detail in a second. There's Hudson Drake. Hudson's very good. Also Canadian, so it would kind of be a perfect fit, really. Although he did split up with Aaron Gray there. Might cause a little bit of friction backstage, so maybe we won't go for him either. Although he's already extended. Never mind. And so has Joffy Lane. So we've essentially missed like 3 really good, well, 2 really good sort of workers that we could have potentially brought in. As you can see, Joffy Lane, that's a bad one to miss because he would have kind of fit in perfectly, to be honest. I know it's kind of says that he's a comedy worker, but with those entertainment stats, the dude really could have gotten over, and the solid brawling there as well. Unfortunate, but it's fine. Our roster is already, it's massive. Let's be real. How's Fro doing? Yeah, Fro's pretty good. Fro's pretty good. Okay. Well, so I guess there's nothing else. Ooh, Robbie Retro? Yeah, maybe. I mean, he's not terrible. He does have a tag team with High Flying Hawaiian as well. Interesting. How much? That's pretty cheap, actually, especially for someone of his popularity. But he is 38, so maybe we don't. Thing is, he's irrepressible, which is great. Really good psychology. Really good star quality in there as well. I'm getting wrapped up. I just want to get into the show. Let's not worry about it too much. Who's this? Drew Danson. Okay, fair enough. Anyway, let's move on. Lauren Easter. Like I pretty much wanted her. That whole creative control thing just really threw me off. It's like it's just gonna add so much more money to a contract than it really needs to be. If that makes sense. And we've kind of got our women's division sorted. I want to add a talent here, a talent there when they're available. Like she was just then. But not for that expense. We're paying a lot of money for Tommy Cornell. And we kind of need to get our money's worth as well. Anyway, this show, we're going into Mississauga, of course. Yeah, that's fine. Let's do some more meddling between Davis and Mighty Cavanaugh. Still no effect. So, they're not at hatred anymore, but it's not exactly ideal, is it? Alright, the real question is, what am I going to do for this main event? Of course, the last episode we did this tag team match, which was really, really quite good. I mean, essentially, I could just follow it up with a... Let's just follow it up with a 6-man tag. And we'll just we'll throw the 2 stables against each other, really. Let me just go back to stables real quick. I want to make sure that I did make Jackpot the leader. I did not. Alright, so we need to fix this up. Get Jackpot there, we'll get Stevie P there. And then we need Princeton Price as member. I think that looks pretty good. Or do I make Princeton the deputy? Or do I make... Yeah, I might want to make Princeton the deputy. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. Because Princeton obviously helped out a little bit more. So I think that kind of makes sense. I don't know. That's a weird one. Stevie P would be Jackpot's deputy. Alright, I've changed my mind a 3rd time. Stevie P, they're in a tag team together. He would literally be the ideal deputy. His own tag team partner would become the deputy sort of by default. And I think we're gonna see John Greed again. He's gonna reappear. Probably not next month, but maybe the month after. And we'll kind of send him on his way with a match against Jackpot, I think. Anyway, so 6-man tag. We are going to have Moneymakers alongside Princeton Price. I can find his name. Where am I? P. And of course, they're taking on Mobstar and the crew. Well, all 3 members of the crew. Of course, Mobstar is their leader. So there we go. I think we'll go 13 minutes again. But this time we're gonna have Jackpot get the victory, and I guess Public Enemy will take the loss there as well. And once again, I think we'll have Logan at ringside as well, just so it gets the storyline. Just so it won't get the double storyline penalty. We'll make it decisive. I think the last one was decisive as well, so we'll do that. Logan at ringside. I feel like that's pretty well booked, that one. There we go. All right, so I guess we may as well just keep going with the same sort of angles. But I think for this one, let's go Jackpot, Stevie P, and Princeton, which have a angle between the 3 of them. And then we'll have a following angle afterwards as well, where we just have we'll have Logan, Mobstar, and then Jackpot again, just to kind of end the show. I think I'll script them as well, because we did have that double penalty the last time we tried to put them all together. It was both Logan and Mobstar, I think, in that last episode. So we'll script him here, see what happens. And that'll be post-main event. Alright, so with our storylines, we've obviously got the tag titles here. I think what we'll do is let's have Brett Kyle take on Turk Treneman. So we'll go 12 minutes on that one. I'll give Brett the win there. Still think we can't call it. They're getting close though. They're getting very close. Up to 60 now for Brett Kyle. That's pretty awesome to see. He might actually be able to call a 10-minute match, potentially. Anyway. During the match, let's also have a distraction in there onto Brett by Tavon, I think. Not going to be like anything too ridiculous, but just a little distraction. You know, making sure that Tavon is in sort of the back of the mind of both members of Young and Wasted. All right, then we're going to go with. Well, I think we need to go, because I kind of talked about it last episode. But we're going to have Forces of Darkness, or Disciples of Darkness, and obviously both Mutant and Aussie will be teaming up with all this to verse some people. I think for this one, we might go for a pretty decent match as well. This could probably main event the show. I might even actually save this for next week. I think I'm going to save it for next week, and we'll just do a different tag team. And then I'll do... Yeah, I think I will do that. We'll do a different team. Let's go the LA Stars for this one. Actually, we'll go the Puerto Rican Boys. Yeah, Puerto Rican Boys sounds pretty good. 12 minutes on that one. We'll give Mutant the victory, so Mutant's going to look pretty good out there. One's nice and easy. Perfect. Next match, let's just go a women's match. I want to give Erin Gray a victory. So she can verse Selena. That's perfect. 10 or 12. We'll go 12. I kind of want to build Erin up as the sort of first contender, if that makes sense. So we want to try and give her a nice little run. We might even bring up some of the women from OWC and actually put them on TV for once as well. So that'll be good. That'll be a good match. What are our other storylines? I should do some more storyline work. Storm and Maddie Faith. All right, let's do something with Gorman and Jackson. Let's have a one-on-one. But let's go with maybe Robin DeLay. No. Let's do this instead. Let's go Mighty Cavanaugh. Good way that we can sort of blend two storylines together. So Cavanaugh versus Graham Gorman. And of course, they're also kind of the same popularity, so it actually works out pretty well. So Cavanaugh's going to get the win. It's going to be called Painted. Outside interference finish onto Graham by Jack Jackson. And that'll be our finish there. And that should be a good way to end that one. And we can do some angles around that as well. Yeah, I mean, that looks like a pretty good show, to be honest. Let's do some angles. So I think I want to do an angle for... Let's go for Brett and Taylor. And then I guess they can just be cutting their promo onto Cooper and Turk, but off screen. So we'll go the double entertainment. Script it out. 6 minutes, off screen. And I think that just looks pretty good for at least for Young and Wasted in our tag team storyline. That'll go before Brett's match. Let's have just a Mutant and Aussie Darkstein angle. So they'll be backstage and there'll be a little bit of maybe animosity between each other. You know, between these two members of Forces of Darkness. They're both sort of they both obviously want the opportunity, but they're also kind of fighting for Aldis's affection, for lack of a better term. All right, the next angle. Let's have Amber Allen, Doc Hammond, and Laura Flame. I think Laura, we'll do her on screen. Let's script all three of them as well, because they're all going to be on entertainment. We'll go success for these two, maybe a minor success there for the Doc. But let's have Amber Allen accuses Doc Hammond of being, I don't know, negligent, comma, giving Laura Flame the title. I mean, it kind of works, whatever I'm trying to convey there. I guess you guys kind of, or hopefully you do, you understand exactly what I'm doing. He didn't exactly give her the title, but that's annoying. But he essentially left Laura to her own devices in his office, if you will. Which I guess is where this angle might actually be taking place. Alright, what else? We need something for Jack Jackson and High Flying Hawaiian as well. Let's go Jack Jackson and Devon. And then we'll have Granby there as well. Actually, should we throw in Giant Brody as well? Let's do it. Let's do it. Anyway. So let's have Jackson Protection Agency. Attacks Graham post-match. Brody makes the save. Match is booked. So we'll do a match on the Go Home show. Tag team match, obviously these two versus these two. I know Brody is kind of a heel at the moment, but at least for this week, for the next week, and this week as well, I guess, he'll be a face, just helping his little brother out, as he likes to call him. That'll go post match, and then we'll quickly do a mighty Cavanaugh angle to kick us off. And we should be good to go, hopefully. So Cavanaugh wants to bounce back. It's the perfect little storyline. We need a... Let's go for this one. Storytelling match. And there we go, 5 minutes to spare. Alright, pre-show. We'll quickly do a women's tag team match again. Let's have Amber Allen and Deborah team up to take on Amy and Air Raid. I think we'll give Deborah the victory because she does have morale issues. We'll do our best to try and get rid of those. I think it can actually be called as well, can't it? Our women are pretty good. Well, at least the ones on the roster anyway. They're decent. They are very decent. Yeah, Deborah's got 82. For some reason I thought she had like 62. Goes to show what I know, eh? Alright, what else? Let's do another tag team match. Let's just have Rock City Stars take on the Goats. Nice easy victory there for Davis. That's fine. I haven't really used the Rock City Stars much recently. And then I guess we'll finish off with a 6-man tag here as well. So let's have Brody, Graham. Oh no, actually, we'll do another tag team match. Let's have, because I want to get James Chester, get him debuted. So let's do Chester teaming up with potentially his new tag team partner, Spencer Edmund. And who can they verse? Now they can verse Job Squad. There we go. Perfect. Give them a win. Nice and easy on the pre-show. And I guess win on date. No, we won't give him the win. We'll give Spencer the win because I guess Spencer's also taken a few losses recently as well. At least on the pre-show anyway. Bowden Snoop's actually pretty decent. I mean, they both are now, to be honest. So they literally, neither of them would actually need to go down. I thought maybe Robin Newman would still be pretty bad, but I mean, looking at that there, he didn't actually look too bad. He's got 72 psychology, which is insane. You know, where compared to where he starts, that's a pretty big jump. Anyway, let's run the show. Start off with a 57 rated tag team pre-show match. We've got James Chester and Spencer Edmund defeating Job Squad in 11:58 when Spencer fitted Bowden with an elevated Boston Crab. And of course, Spencer head and shoulders above everybody else in the match. And of course, Robin being the weak link. Anyway, Chester debuting his underdog gimmick. And it's only got an initial rating of adequate. A little bit unfortunate there. No pros or cons though, so I like that. And it is a Weasley underdog gimmick, so that the Weasley bit could very well fit the sort of tag team that I want these two to be. I want them to be like a real snobbish, you know, will run from a fight type guys. They're not going to want to get down and dirty with any other tag teams. Anyway, second pre-show match, the women's tag. We get a 73. It's actually a really good sort of rating there. Got Amber Allen and Deborah Young defeating Amy St. James and Air Raid Siren in 11:31 when Deborah pinned Amy St. James with a sit-out powerbomb. And of course, Amber Allen with an 84 in-ring. Very good stuff there. Kind of our shining light, if you will. And then the final pre-show match, the last tag match here, we get a 79 where we have the Golden Goats defeating the Rock City Stars in 11:52 when Davis Wayne Newton submitted, about to say something else, pinned, but he submitted Rock and Ryan Turner with that STF and getting himself a nice win there. Came out of the match looking good. That's a positive and a 93 in ring for Davis there as well. Alrighty, here we go. We kick off TV with a very poor angle, to be honest. Once again, Mighty Cavanaugh with a 59 rated angle. Looking a little bit low. He's got really good entertainment skills. I know he's got the morale issues, but he's got like high 70s in his entertainment skills, so it's unfortunate, but he was very poor when trying to improvise a dialogue. Maybe I should have scripted him. Potentially. I don't know. It's a weird one. We'll move on. Into his match, which gets a 73, so that's a little bit better. We do have Mighty Cavanaugh defeating Graham Gorman in 11:48 by pinfall with a sit-out spinebuster following interference from Jack Jackson. So yeah, Jack getting involved, costing Graham Gorman another match, albeit a tainted win for Mighty Cavanaugh there. Anyway, we've got a 69 for Graham, 63 for Cavanaugh. I actually looked at Cavanaugh before starting the recording on the roster page. I don't think, even at 41, I don't think he's in time decline yet. So that's very, very strange. I was expecting him to be, even worse than he used to be, but he's exactly the same. Alrighty, we then go into the following or the post-match angle. We get a 76. We have, of course, Jackson Protection Agency, and they attack Graham Gorman post-match. Of course, Jackson was already out there. Tavon by his side, as you would expect, being the muscle of the stable. And yeah, they start beating down on Graham. Giant Brody's music hits, comes down, makes the save, and him and Graham sort of hug it out. And then the announcers put over the fact that a match is going to be booked, tag team match, next week, Jack and Tavon versus Kilogram. Good stuff. We got Tavon as well, clearly enjoying having the freedom to go off script. Good stuff. I like to see that. That's a good angle. Alright, we then go straight into another angle. Of course, this is our women's angle on the show. Get a 79 out of this one. Of course, all three rated on entertainment as well. We have Amber Allen, and she bursts into Doc Hammond's office. Of course, he is the Women's Division Commissioner. And she accuses him of being negligent with the women's title belt. And he basically says that he gave the opportunity to Laura Flame to come into his office and steal that title. Of course, Doc kind of, is a bit taken back by it all. Doesn't really know how to handle what's going on at the moment. And you could also say he maybe kind of looks a little bit guilty at the same time. He's kind of like, doesn't really know what's sort of going on. Basically what happens when someone's caught in a lie, or at least they're told for what they did wrong, essentially. And of course, Laura comes in towards the end of the angle, looking pretty smug with herself, saying, Amber, I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never steal the women's title, but I am going to win it at the pay-per-view. That's how we end the angle there. And all three of them actually doing really well without the script to follow. So luckily Laura sort of complained, and I took the script off. Nice. Alright, we then go into women's singles action, getting a 61 out of this match. Actually a pretty good match considering who's involved. We got Erin Gray defeating Selena Svelte in 12:19 by submission with a guillotine choke. Yeah, both women getting a 52. So a 61's pretty good. Why I said it was a decent rating. Not much else to say. Like I said, we're going to try and build up Erin Gray. I want to try and get her up to maybe like Laura Flame level popularity. So we can make her the next competitor for the women's title. I feel like they need to at least be at Laura Flame's level if they're going to be in the title picture, because obviously it's either going to be Amber or it's going to be Laura. And of course, the storyline probably will continue for at least one more month. So I've got a little bit of time, is what I'm trying to say, to build up Erin Gray. Alright, we then move into a 90 rated Forces of Darkness angle here. We've got Mutant, we've got Aussie Darkstein, and of course they're kind of going back and forth with each other. A little bit of argument, one says he deserves to be the One Ring to Rule Them All competitor for Forces of Darkness in Aldis's place. The other one says, no, you don't. I deserve it. They go back and forth, lots of arguing, and it looks like there's sort of some real dissent in the ranks. At least between these two. Maybe not between, Zombie Boy, Original Sinner, and Aldis. And they are fighting, essentially, for Aldis's approval to be that representative. Anyway, I'm pretty happy with a 90. Because Aldis isn't actually in the angle. So there we go. Alright, we then have a very, very, very good tag team match. Wow. A 90 rated tag match. That's not even the main event. Hopefully this doesn't beat the main event, because that'd be a bit of a letdown. But there we go. At least that goes to show that the next main event on the next TV show is potentially going to be, even better than this one. But we do have Disciples of Darkness 3 defeating the Puerto Rican boys in 12-18 when Mutant pinned Island Boy Apollo with the Tina Turner. And of course, Aldis head and shoulders above everybody else. And Kid San Juan being our weak link. But to get a 90, that's pretty incredible. Mutant with a 74. Island Boy Apollo with a 75 there as well. Very impressive. And of course, a 93 for Mr. Darkness himself. Alrighty, we then go into a 73 rated tag team angle where we have Young and Wasted. And they just basically cut a simple catchphrase, as you can see there. Taylor with a hot catchphrase. A simple sort of catchphrase angle that they would sort of cut against any competitor. This time, of course, going up against the Texas Express. And of course, we got Brett Kyle versus Turk in that next match. That match gets a 71, which is actually good, considering Turk only has about 39, 38 popularity, somewhere about that. So, he's low on pop. He's a very good worker, very good wrestler, but we just need to get that pop up. So, I'm actually happy with that. I thought it might have been a bit lower, maybe about a 60, so I'm happy. Pleasantly surprised. Anyway, we've got Brett Kyle defeating Turk Treneman in 11:33 by pinfall with a shooting star press. And then, of course, during the match, we also had Tavon come in and distract Brett Kyle. So, again, it's sort of showing the unity between the Jackson Protection Agency. They've all got each other's backs, essentially. And Turk, he went out there. Tavon had his back. He still lost. But at least in the back of the mind of Young and Wasted, Tavon being there is going to potentially get in their heads a little bit. All right, we then go into a Wall Street Enterprises angle. And it's a very, very good one. We get an 86. I think that might be one of the highest ratings we've ever gotten from Wall Street Enterprises. Of course, John Creed no longer involved, but Princeton Price taking his place as a much sort of younger option. And a much more over leader in Jackpot Jordan as well. Of course, they're one half of our main event. And the main event bombs. Yeah, we definitely should have gone with the Disciples of Darkness versus Puerto Rican boys as the main event. But you know what? It's okay. It's an 81. It's lower than what I would like to get. Because at this stage where we are in the game, I would like to be getting 85 minimum main events. But I'll take this one because we have essentially used mid-carder, slightly above a mid-carder in Princeton Price, and then we got two mid-carders in Papa Swole, and definitely, even maybe lower mid-card for Public Enemy. That's kind of maybe being a little bit disrespectful. Probably just a mid-carder, maybe. And then obviously two main eventers in Jackpot and Mobstar. But, yeah, it's basically Public Enemy that really sort of destroyed this match rating with his 45. Everybody else was, pretty good. So there we go. It's interesting that we have got the tag experience here. But it says for 3 different people. I'm wondering if that sort of equates to like the crew tag team having good experience, and then obviously the moneymakers themselves having good experience. Must be. It's either that or it's the fact that they're in a stable together, two different stables. I have no idea. We also actually got a penalty for Papa Swole being partially through a weight change. Interesting. Obviously, both him and Public Enemy getting dinged there for inconsistency as well, so that would have taken it down a little bit. 81's not terrible. It's also not the last sort of segment on the show, so it's fine. And then we actually finish off the show with our sort of triple threat main event for the pay-per-view angle. We have the current unified world champion Logan Wolfsbane, and again he cuts a promo. Well, they all three of them go back and forth as to why these two go why they deserve to be the champion, and Logan says why he is the champion. And he basically says he's just that damn good, and the world just absolutely loves him. There's nothing else to really be said apart from that. And this one was scripted as well, so we get a 98 with a scripted angle. Pretty good. Anyway, we'll finish the show. It's not a great one. It's an 87. I mean, at this stage, I would like to be getting above a 90, and I don't think an 87 is going to be good enough to actually beat out CWA this week, because we've been beating them fairly consistently at the moment, and I'm thinking that might just not be good enough, which would suck. I think they got 87 last week, so we potentially might have equaled that anyway. All right, what do we got here? View demand. Yep, that's fine because we're going with a new pay-per-view carrier soon. Logan thinks Kid San Juan is too small. Apparently, we should release him and find someone better. Pretty sure he's on an exclusive written contract. Is he not? He's not. Interesting. Did I not sign him to an exclusive written contract? Huh, interesting. It's a little bit strange why I didn't decide to do that and went for written anyway. I think it was because he's a fair bit older than Island Boy. I think when I signed Island Boy, I had it in my plans to kind of give him a singles push as well. Anyway, TV rating a little bit lower. We got a 4.32 this week with only 3.25 million viewers. So it's down about, I think it's down about 30,000, just about there. There or thereabouts. And yeah, US Pro actually winning this week's highest rating with a 91 rated show. Usually they get like 80s, so that's kind of strange. Their main event was very good though. You got Steve Freely and Jefferson Stardust defeating the Gremlins, being Nikki Champion and Texas Pete. Pretty good match. Pretty good match indeed. And yes, I mean, CWA beat us as well, to be honest. They got a 99 rated match in there. That wasn't even the main event. They went with the women. Once again, they love their women main eventing their TV shows. Got Claire Winters actually defeating Brooke Tyler as well. Ooh, Brooke Tyler. She must have... She's been losing a bit... Yeah, she's been losing a bit of popularity. She was 100 there, and she's now 99, so interesting. I guess they're keeping her strong in that type of match anyway, just to sort of make sure she doesn't lose too much. But that's it's got to be doing wonders for Claire. Not really. I mean, she's only up what 2 points this month, and she's the current women's champion for them. Yeah, it's interesting nonetheless. Of course, they also get to keep Lauren Easter as well. But a year in 6 months, or just under 6 months, for Matthew Keith, who is now 35 years old. A little bit unfortunate there. But I'd definitely like to get him in. He also passes on knowledge as well. So I really want to try and get him in at some stage. I'm happy to pay way over the odds as well in order to actually get him. And then, I mean, to be fair, I'd like to try and bring Kamikaze back in, of course. He was, once upon a time, one of our best workers a very long time ago, but yeah, still. I'd like to get him in. How long for him? A long damn time. Okay, well over 2 years. All right, that's fine. I mean, it wasn't the best. It wasn't the best show for us. That's pretty evident. One person I would like to look at is Casey Glenn. Go to Helakion. Who's this woman? Bully. Okay. Where is he? Why isn't he there? Or did they change his name? Oh, okay. Never mind. Still want to bring him in. He's a damn beast. 3 months, 2 weeks. We've been waiting for this one for a long time. A long, long time. Imagine Casey Glenn versus Tommy Cornell. Casey Glenn versus Logan Wolfsbane. Casey Glenn versus Aldous Blackfriar. There are some, like, Warzone level matches in there. For sure, as the main event. Alright, anyway, let's have a look at size. We're actually up to 72. That's perfect. I mean, if we can get up to 73 after this next TV show as well, that'd be incredible. Anyways, guys, just want to say, thank you for all the support recently. But if you could smash a like on the video, it would be very much appreciated by myself. It seems like some of the likes have kind of dipped off, whereas the views haven't. So I think it's more just people maybe sort of forgetting to drop a like on the video, even though they do, of course. I know you guys like the content in general, but it helps the videos in the algorithm a little bit more. So when people search for TEW, they're more likely to see this Local to Global series. Yeah, if you could smash a like, be much appreciated, as always. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I say it at the end of every episode. I should probably start saying it at the start of an episode. Because there's still like 50% of people that watch these videos that aren't subscribed. I don't really understand why. It'd be so much easier for you if you just, sub to the channel, add that notification bell on. It's also worth saying we're up to 10.1% of the actual subscribers turning that notification bell on. So we're essentially just over 1 in 10 of my subs having that notification bell turned on. So I do appreciate that. I'm going to take a sip of water here because my voice is starting to go, as it always does. I really try and pronounce my words clearly on these videos. You can probably tell there's probably a little bit of a difference between the live stream episodes of Dave and the actual Local to Global. So I try and, obviously with the live streams, I'm a little bit more relaxed compared to these, where I kind of find that these Local to Globals are, well, it's kind of a little bit more important, whereas I do kind of, I like to chill a little bit when it comes to the Dave live streams over on Twitch. The link for the Twitch channel is in the description down below as well. Make sure you follow that. And we're already processed through. I didn't even get to have a sip of my water. Yeah, it doesn't look like Chip's going to go to Black Maple, which it is pretty annoying. Anyway, we've also got Zarnal Zapaniah. The damn mouthful, that name. I would like to actually get him, and he would have been a decent little fit for the Jackson Protection Agency as well. But he's both an MMA fighter and also an agitator. And I don't really want an agitator backstage, essentially. So we're going to let him go, and it looks like SWF are going to let him go as well. Lee Rivera, Thrill Seeker, as he used to be known as, is selfish. So that's a definite no. And yeah, Big Smack Scott retiring as well. I kind of thought about maybe bringing him in potentially for a match or two, but yeah, I don't think so. Could maybe bring him in as a I don't know, a manager or stable leader or something. I mean, he's supposed to be color commentator, but he's only got 74. Interesting, yeah. He actually went from 0 up to 24 straight away. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I wonder if he might actually improve on color. I mean, I know we've already got a new color commentator coming as well. Yeah, we got 1 week remaining for the Canada One Choice pay-per-view as well. Gonna take a quick sip of water here. Alrighty. Go home show. Of course, we're going to Ottawa. We always go to Ottawa for our go home shows. Alright, so the main event. Oh, we have incidents. Never mind, let's go back and check that. What do we got? Got a lot of stuff, actually. Alright, Tom Townsend. Lifting the locker room, providing a free crate of drinks for everybody. Deanna Desire. Setting up a pancake station. Starting to cook for everybody. Got Louise Frost going to Wrestler's Court. Getting a small positive impact there as well for Louise. Nice. We've got John Greed passing on tips on the microphone to Charlie Corner, which is very good for Charlie. And then we got Doc passing on tips on psychology to Chip Martin as well. Very, very nice. We love to see it. All right. Main events. Again, we're going with Disciples of Darkness 6 this time. So the Aussie Darkstein side of this tag team. And they're going to be taking on the Golden Goats in our main event for 14 minutes. Oh, actually, no. Let's go 12. I mean, yeah. I mean, Zeusy Boys lost a lot of stamina. Go 12. Go 12. And then let's give Aussie the win. The loser is going to be... It makes sense storyline-wise. We're going to make Davis the loser. But I'm also going to keep Davis strong. So it's going to potentially affect the main event rating here. It's also going to be a tainted win. You know what? I'm not going to keep him strong. It's just going to be tainted. Let's have an interference onto Davis by David Stone, of course. They are facing each other at the pay-per-view. They're in a storyline together. Do we want to call it? I think I will call it. Let's see how this called match will go. It's only 12 minutes, and there is a lot of psychology in that match for only a 12-minute one. So, hoping it'll be fine. I will be a little bit disappointed if it does get a psychology penalty. It would probably be like Zeus. He's only got 78. We're gonna do it anyway. We're gonna do it anyway. There we go. I am gonna script the main event of the pay-per-view next episode, so we'll see if we can get that elusive 100. But I think we might potentially be getting it anyway with Tommy Cornell coming in. You have to think like a 13-minute match, Tommy Cornell versus Logan Wolfsbane. How would that match not get a 100? Like on paper, that's guaranteed 100 to me anyway. All right. What are we doing on this one? I have no idea what I want to do on this one. I guess we can do the reverse match. So do Taylor versus Cooper. Kind of makes sense. What am I doing? Cooper. And Taylor Norton. Go 12 minutes for this one. Cooper's going to get the win on that one, though. We'll make this one decisive. And I think that should be all right. I think we'll go with maybe a Logan match against somebody as well, because Logan's is not exactly doing too much at the moment. Maybe Logan versus Stevie P. I think that's a pretty good match. That actually has some decent potential, to be honest. I might just keep it at 10 minutes, though. Stevie P is really starting to decline as well. It's unfortunate. I do like Stevie P. Anyway, we'll script that one as well. I want to see how well that will actually do as a non-title match. And then we'll go a women's tag team match here. So we're going to have Amber Allen teaming up with Erin Gray to take on Laura and Selena. 12 minutes. We'll give Amber the victory. Selena can lose. And we'll keep Laura strong. I don't really want her losing any popularity going into the women's title match. So I think that's for the best, if I'm being honest. There we go. All right, what else are we doing? We need the tag team match as well for the Jackson Protection Agency. So Jack Jackson and Tavon Blake Jr. And they're going to be taking on Kilogram. Huh. I have to say that, you know, Giant Brody, his popularity did go up quite a lot when he sort of got involved with Logan. When he became the Canadian champion as well. But he's also getting pretty old now, so I need to strike while the iron's hot. Alright, I think coming out of this one, I think we'll give Brody the win. Tavon can lose. Because I don't want Jack losing, because he's the champion. I mean, at the end of the day, Tavon, while he's gonna be fairly dominant, he is kind of just the muscle that's gonna get involved in a lot of the matches and be also a bit of a focal point for, you know, the actual hiring side of the protection agency. I think we may as well just call this one as well. I don't know why I keep scripting everything. I guess it's in my head that I just think that scripting, for some reason, just does better than calling a match, but anyway, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's, we can probably fit one more match in as well, actually. Haven't really done anything with Maddie Faith, so let's do something with Maddie Faith. Do a match. So Maddie Faith can take on, I think he can just take on, what's his name? Marvin Malloy. We already do this match? I don't know if we already did this one or not. I don't think we did. Or at least I hope we didn't, because it kind of fits pretty perfectly with what we're trying to do right now. Let's actually do this as well. Because this is gonna follow into a bit more of a storyline as well. So Storm's going to do a botched interference finish to cost Marvel the match. I like that. Alright, let's do a Logan angle onto Jackpot and Mobstar. They'll be off screen though. Give that 8 minutes as well. And of course, advancing the Unified World title storyline. Perfect. Let's once again go with a Maddie Faith angle just to open the show. By himself, it's again another one of those sort of dark, ominous, weird type angles that he's kind of blaming himself for everything that's happening at the moment. And of course, he's going to get a little bit of luck in this match as well from his pay-per-view opponent, Storm Spillane. Okay, so we need another angle this time. I think we'll go for Aldous and Aussie in that main event, or prior to the main event. Of course, that's advancing the fractures as well. Perfect. We could go an Amber Allen, Aaron Gray angle where they're trying to get on the same page backstage. I think that works. No, actually, no, I have a different idea for this angle. I'll explain it once we get into it. There's a nice, a nice 6 minutes. We'll give both of them some success. Just because I want them to be successful in the storyline. Okay, we don't really need another angle for this one between, Texas Express and Young and Wasted. I would like to maybe do another angle here though, potentially, for these two. Yeah, let's do that. Actually, we can do a full. Let's do a full Jackson Protection Agency. So we'll go Tavon, go Cooper, and Turk. Can Turk speak? I know these two can speak, but I'm not sure about the rest. I'd like to check that. We also need a. We'll make the women's match storytelling as well, because there is kind of going to be a bit of a story in that one. But let me check. So, yeah, Turk. Yeah, I mean they're relatively good. All relative. I mean he does improve, so I might, you know what, we might just put him in on entertainment as well. And that'll actually advance that tag storyline as well, because Turk and Cooper being in it. All right, looks pretty good. Let's hire some, or bring up Oro is the word I'm looking for. A couple of women, we'll chuck them in another tag team match. Let's go for Yvonne and Duplicate. Haven't used them in a little while. Chuck them into a women's tag team match. Let's have Deborah and Ellie. Oh, we'll get Air Raid Siren as well. Take on Duplicate and Yvonne. Hopefully these girls are doing some decent work down in developmental. That doesn't really look like it. Still at 45 psychology. Maybe 1 basics. It's not looking good though. I mean, Duplicate's only 23, so she really, should still be improving. And Yvonne, same sort of thing. Hasn't really gone up in psychology. I'm assuming that's because there's just not enough good workers down there with the sort of required psychology that we kind of need. Anyway, give Deborah the win. And then I think let's just do a 6-man tag. Let's do an 8-man tag. And we'll just throw in... I think we'll throw in... Yeah, we'll throw in Next Gen. So we'll go David, Angry... where is he? Brett. And... Chip. And they can take on... I don't know. Who can they take on? Let's just grab some other workers. Take on High Flying, because he hasn't really been used recently. Gary Walker. Robin Delay for sure. We need to get him in some more matches. And then I guess we'll go Willie LaRue into a match. Didn't use Uterasono at all recently. Feel a little bit bad. I really do. But let's give the win to David. We need him to get a little bit of momentum. Of course, getting involved in the main event on the show, but there we go. And I guess the loser can be Big old Willie. Be the loser. There we go. All right. Let's run with that. I like the look of that show as our go home. All right, so we start off with a 55 rated pre-show match where we have Deborah Young and Air Raid Siren defeating Duplicate and Yvonne Eriks in 11:49. When Deborah pinned Duplicate with a sit-out powerbomb. And of course, Deborah head and shoulders above everybody else in the match. Duplicate was the weak link. It's just a good match, bringing our sort of dev girls up as well. And the second pre-show match, the big 8-man tag, we get a 77, where we have Next Gen, of course, Stone, Gilmore, Kyle, and Martin, defeating High Flying Hawaiian, Gary Walker, Robin DeLay, and Willie LaRue in 11:35, when David Stone submitted Willie LaRue with a stone hold. Just a good match. Pretty happy with that. Brett Kyle was really off his game. Unfortunate. And we've got the gimmick change here as well for Gary. Alright, so Man on a Mission gimmick has received an initial rating of great. So that's a positive. That's a positive. Although his losses are going to damage his popularity more than usual. He does also get a small boost to his charisma during matches and angles as well. So it's an interesting little trade-off there, now that I think about it. But overall, it's not terrible. I guess maybe we should try and keep Gary strong in matches from now on, so we reduce that penalty of losing a little bit extra popularity from a loss. And he's just going to be benefited a little bit more in a match and angle. So it's good. All right, we start off the show with a 100 rated angle from Maddie Faith. His sort of Jay White-esque style angles at the moment. They've been going down pretty well. And of course, he might be getting the win in this next match, but it's not exactly a dominant performance by Maddie Faith. And at the end of the day, he only wins because Storm accidentally hits his own tag team partner, essentially costing him the match with that botched interference. So yeah, Maddie gets, I guess he gets a little bit of a break in this match. It's interesting. They don't seem to click, and it showed for an awkward bout. But they still got a 71. And Marvel doesn't exactly have a lot of popularity either. So, yeah, there we go. Anyway, Maddie Faith defeating Marvel Malloy in 12:27 by pinfall with a Faith Falls Eternal. Love that finisher. That's a really good one. But he only got a 69. It's kind of strange seeing Maddie Faith with just a 69 in there. Then we got a 47 as well from Marvel. But yeah, negative chemistry. It's okay. We probably won't ever put them together again, so it's fine. And of course, the match. I know it didn't say there, but the match was cost by Storm. Anyway, we then go into a 66 rated angle. This one would have been so much better had I not rated Turk Treneman on Entertainment. And as you can see here, he was very underwhelming. So there we go. He did improvise well, though. So yeah, it's a bit of a trade-off. He does have a much lower popularity than everybody else in the stable. Yeah, just a simple Jackson Protection Agency angle. They basically say that they're quote-unquote open for business, so people can hire them if they choose to do so. Obviously, comes with a big fee. And yeah, they're looking forward to seeing who's going to come forward and try and, rise up the ranks potentially. Yeah, 66, pretty good going into the tag team match, which does very well. I thought this would be a pretty good match. We get an 81, where we have Kilogram defeating Jack Jackson and Tavon Blake Jr. in 11:48 when Giant Brody pinned Tavon with a single-handed chokeslam. So yeah, the constant attacking of Graham Gorman has kind of backfired a little bit for Jack Jackson there. Not only has their team lost the match, but they've lost the match in front of everybody just after it's sort of announcing that they're open for business. Kind of makes them look less dominant than they would normally look. They, kind of previously looked at the hands of Giant Brody. There we go. It's a very good match, though. I really like that one. All right, we then go into a 99 rated angle from the Unified World Champion himself, Logan Wolfsbane, basically saying that, again, he said it before in that last episode, the odds are they're stacked against him. He's at the moment looking like the most dominant champion the coalition has ever seen, and there's a good reason for it. The people love him. He says the people love me. That the people know, and the rest of the roster knows what I can do in a ring. You know, it's very rare for me to lose. In fact, has Logan lost? I don't know if he has. I should probably check that throughout his career here. He definitely lost back in the day, because I think we jobbed him out before he left to TCW, but since coming back, I don't know if he has actually lost a match. Maybe a tag team match early when he first signed. Can't remember. Anyway, he's been damn dominant since then. So there we go. 99 rated angle. Very good. His match. Oh, we get some more negative chemistry on this show. Interesting, because I thought this one was potentially going to steal the show. We get a 77, which is... That's still a really good rating, considering got the negative chemistry between these two. We do have Logan Wolfsbane defeating Stephen Parker in 10:29 by submission with a Boston Crab. And then we got Logan and Stephen Parker don't seem to click, and it made for an awkward bout. So, exact same thing as Maddie Faith and Marvel Malloy. Still getting an 88 though for Logan with that negative chemistry and the penalty for Stevie P being in time decline. All right, we then go into a 71 rated angle. I like it. Because obviously Aaron's a little bit lower on the popularity scale, but yeah, both Amber Allen and Aaron Gray, they get on the same page, and Amber kind of is still looking a little bit, I don't want to say crazy. She's still being very intense. And she, at the start of this angle, she kind of interrogates Aaron Gray a little bit. Just trying to find out if Aaron knows anything. She even kind of, flat out asks her if she was the one that stole the title, to which, Aaron would scowl at her and say, obviously I didn't take it. I was there to win the damn thing as well. And yeah, then Aaron kind of says, she's seen, Laura Flame walking around quite a bit with a, what seems to be a very smug sort of smile on her face all the time. And there we go. These two, they kind of align themselves with each other, at least, for this tag team match. And we'll see how it gets on. The tag team match actually does pretty well, considering, Selena's in it, and she is very low popularity. We get a 72. That's about essentially what I'm expecting from these women's matches. I think Amber Allen versus Laura for the actual title at the pay-per-view could potentially hit an 80. And I kind of expect it to in a 12-minute match. But it's good to see these ones still getting above a 70. Anyway, we've got Amber Allen and Aaron Gray defeating Laura Flame and Selena Svelte in 12:18 when Amber pinned Laura with a Northern Lights suplex. Yeah, just a good match. And of course, Amber, 79, head and shoulders above everybody else in the contest. Go straight into another match. This one a singles match where we get a 74 rating as well. Got Cooper Christie, this time getting a bit of revenge for last week where Turk lost. This time he defeats Taylor Norton, the other half of Young and Wasted, in 11:47 by pinfall with a top rope elbow drop. And honestly, it's just a good match. A good singles match, 73 for both these guys in ring, and a 74, slightly above their in rings. We shall take it. Any penalties? Absolutely no penalties. Okay, there we go. All right, we then... I did Alexander Robinson. How did I mess that up so bad? Oh, that was the crowning moment. That was going to be a 100. I could feel it. Nice 100 rated angle leading into the main event. And I've chosen myself. All right, what can we do? What can we do to save this angle? Let me think about it for a second here. Obviously, Alexander is the owner of the coalition. So maybe, all right, this is what we can say. Alexander runs into Aussie Darkstein backstage before the match. Alexander kind of tries to get into the head of Aussie saying, you know, back in the day, you were a champion. You were Aussie Goldstein. You were a champion. You need to go back. You need to fight the darkness, come back into the light, and reclaim yourself. And he basically says, I don't ever see you winning the unified world title unless you once again become gold instead of dark. And Aussie kind of replies, you know, says a few things to Alexander. You know, you were always a big supporter of mine. You know, just a few little, maybe little hints that Aussie is starting to, the darkness is starting to fade away from his brain or his mind. And there's a few little subtle hints that he might be coming back to his old self. Anyway, I feel like that's a pretty good way to explain why Alexander's in this angle as opposed to Aldous. And I was obviously going to go with something very different, but there we go. Anyway, 72, not terrible. Actually, Darkstein, the one to not do well without a script, and Robinson actually doing a masterful job. So, interesting. And the main event, yeah, it does very well. I thought it would. I mean, it pretty much had to. The talent in this match. We get a 92 rated main event here. Very good stuff. We do indeed have Disciples of Darkness 6 defeating the Golden Goats in 11:45 when Aussie Darkstein pinned Davis Wayne Newton with a golden shower following interference from David Stone. But still, massive, massive victory. Of course, these two, in their own right, had a pretty storied rivalry with each other back in the day. So this, again, might be slightly tweaking even further the whole, you know, face turn potentially. The Aussie Darkstein coming back to Aussie Goldstein. It could be there. It could be there. Anyway, really good match. 92, very solid. Got a 95 in-ring there from Aldous, 81 from Aussie, and a 91 there as well from Davis. Anyway, let's finish the show. Should be a pretty good one. Yeah, 91. That's what I like to see. I'm happy with that. I'm kind of wondering if that pre-main event angle, if that had have actually been Aldous, what that would have done to the overall show rating there. Kind of wondering if it would have bumped it up like another 1 point, potentially. I feel like it potentially would have, getting it up to a 92. But hopefully, the 91 is going to be good enough to actually, you know, get us the win this week. Beating, well, obviously US Pro, I think, had the best show last week, even though they were tied with CWA. Although CWA probably had the better show overall because they had a 99 rated semi-main event, and then the women's match was a 90. US Pro only had a 97 rated main event as well. Never mind, we got a 93 rated show from US Pro this week. Fair play. Okay. And they've definitely smashed it out of the park this week. They got Tiffany Jade defeating Jamie Quinn as their main event, getting a 96. And their semi-main event, Aaron Andrews and El Leon defeating Urban Gladiators, which is Jake Idle and Xavi Ferreira. And both, yeah, Aaron Andrews with the 100, El Leon with a 100 in-ring as well. Insane. I really wanted to sign El Leon, but he wouldn't come. He's also the world champion at the moment. Yeah, he wouldn't come to us. Would have been a great signing, even at his, you know, relatively old age. Interesting. Storm Spillane with a power play. Whatever that means. And our deal with Celestia in Mexico also running out as well. And we get a 4.43 TV rating this week. We are well over 3.3 million. I like to see it. I like to see it. Good stuff. All right. So, that's pretty much the end of the episode. We've gone an hour and 20 minutes. Let's take a look at the size. We unfortunately didn't go up again in Alberta, but I'm assuming we'll be going up after the pay-per-view in the next episode, up to 73. We did go up to 78, though, in Saskatchewan as well. So that's pretty cool. The US, I mean, the US is looking real healthy. We're above 70 in all the main regions. We got 38 in Puerto Rico, 34 in Hawaii. I mean, these two, they're just going to take so long to get up. And, I mean, I'm likely to just continue to upgrade our own broadcaster to the, like, you know, an enormous level for the US and for Canada. Again, we're going to try and go, I think I want to go big in Mexico. And then we're going to go medium all these other regions around the world, which is kind of the next steps. So we'll go big. We'll have 3 big: USA, Canada, Mexico, and then all British Isles, Japan, Europe, Oceania, and India. They'll all go up to medium as well fairly soon. Obviously, it's a lot of money, and then we're going to go with, I guess, Canada. Canada would have to be the next one to go up to very big for their coverage. It's also, you know, it's 4.6 million cheaper than doing the US at the same time, or the same level of coverage. So, and of course, Canada. I mean, it's Canada, our home region, so, or home country, if you will. Anyway, that is it. That is it for the episode, guys. Again, make sure you tune into the next one, which will be the pay-per-view episode. We've got Night of Combat. Looking forward to it. We've got a lot of good matches, man. We've got a lot of good storyline matches, as you can see here. I mean, even this one, Lifeline versus Cavanaugh, got the tag title match, got the whatever's going to happen in this match here. Because we're essentially just going to have Mutant versus Aussie on the pay-per-view. Again, we got Matty Faye, Storm Spillane, David Stone, Davis, Wayne Newton. We got Hocking versus Tavon. It's kind of Tavon's pay-per-view debut. We got the Canadian title rematch between Graham and Jack. Got the unified triple threat for the unified world title. That's going to be a tasty main event. And then we're crowning our first women's champion as well, between Laura and Amber Allen. That is I have to say, Night of Combat 2024 is a stacked card. There is a lot of good matches on that card, man. There really is. I might even just do a battle royale on the pre-show just to get everybody sort of on the card, and maybe a women's tag match as well on the pre-show. But everything else, I mean, it's looking pretty good. Anyway, I just want to see Tommy. Just want to double check. Oh. He's going to miss out by 2 days. His contract starts in 4 days. That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. Make sure you've already smashed a like. I know most of you have, so I do appreciate it. Also, subscribe to the channel again. Please subscribe. Makes things easier for you. Notifications turned on. You'll be notified when these episodes come out. I do have some stuff I need to say about me in real life, which is probably going to mean that these episodes are going to slow down a bit more. But I'll discuss that. I don't really have to discuss it anytime soon because it's still over a month away with what's going to happen. But just to let you guys know, I might even do it next episode and just sort of talk about what's going on with me in real life and the commitments that I've made. That's going to mean I'm going to be away from home, is basically what I'm saying, for a couple of months. Anyways, apart from that, guys, as always, take it easy and goodbye.